Okay, bros. We are here for your weekly NXT Fix, featuring the ever so popular Bro Ratings. Now, here's your host. Okay, bros, I'm your host, Jimmy the Gibson, and we're here for another episode of your weekly NXT Fix. Now, things are getting really crazy, and you'll see especially this week after the big announcement of the upcoming NXT TakeOver 36, the day after SummerSlam, we are about to put some major matches in motion here tonight on NXT Weekly. So we get things started this week with a tag team matchup. It's Timothy Thatcher and Tommaso Ciampa versus Oney, Lorcan and Pete Dunne. Now, this was a brutal, fast-paced contest, as you would imagine from these two teams. But I think there was something a little lacking. Pete Dunne didn't quite look as crisp as he normally does. Same with Timothy Thatcher. Maybe they were holding back a little for future matchups. That's the only thing I could think of. But towards the end of the matchup, we did have some outside interference, and I think NXT's been doing the interference thing way too much lately. It was none other than the returning Ridge Holland, who just smashed Thatcher and Ciampa with clothesline. Pete Dunne hit the bitter end. 1, 2, 3. Pete Dunne, Oney, Lorcan, your winners in a good tag team match. Not a great one. I think these four competitors could make it great, but it was good. Way to open up the show, NXT. So with that being said, bros, we're going to give this one a 7.8 on the Bro Ratings. Moving on. Samoa Joe arrives wearing a shirt that says, "Provoke me." Hilarious stuff. And Hit Row is ready for Legado del Fantasma, but up next, they're going to face Imperium. Our next in-ring contest was actually an interview. Samoa Joe in-ring interview. Well, he shows up, walks down the ring with a piece of paper, throws a small table, throws a chair in the ring, and he says, "You know what? Karrion Kross is too much of a gutless coward to be in the building right now. So, Mr. Regal, will you please come out here and join me?" Regal comes to the ring. What's going on here, obviously? And he says, "I know tonight you are so fired up. You are so done with this guy that you want to fire Karrion Kross. But I have a better solution in 3 easy steps. Step number 1. Here's a paper with my official resignation from NXT management. Step number 2. Here is a piece of paper that you sign which will make me a member of the active roster in NXT. And number 3, here is a contract against Karrion Kross for the NXT Championship at TakeOver 36. And William Regal accepted the resignation, signed off on him being an active member of the roster, and signed the championship match. Karrion Kross defends against Samoa Joe at the next TakeOver. Bros, this is monumental. We went from Samoa Joe being released in the WWE to then re-signed in NXT as part of management to now being an active roster member competing and in the championship match against Karrion Kross in a few short weeks. Samoa Joe, his stock has never been higher in the WWE. This is fantastic stuff from Joe. What a great in-ring promo. With that being said, bros, we're going to give this one an 8.0 on the Bro Ratings. Moving on, we've got L.A. Knight. Yeah. And he's going to hit the links with Cameron Grimes. And Cameron Grimes sitting there washing his golf balls, and he says, "How long do you want me to wash your balls for, Mr. Knight?" He says, "Get over it, bring that over here." And he's getting ready to tee off. Cameron Grimes says, "I'll tell you what, $1,000 you hit that ball right in those trees over there." And he says, forget it. And he goes, 5,000. Are you sure you don't want to bet? Of course, LA Knight hits the ball into the trees. He said, you owe me 5,000 now? He goes, I don't owe you anything. Now go get that ball. Hilarious stuff. LA Knight and Cameron Grimes on the golf course. They are absolutely killing it. Next match we have the NXT Breakout Tournament match. Round number 1, it was Carmelo Hayes versus Josh Briggs. Carmelo Hayes, we've seen a few weeks ago, taking an opportunity against Adam Cole, baby, smacked Adam Cole across the face. And then you got Josh Briggs, maybe the biggest guy in the tournament. I think he's 6'8", they said. Anyway, also, a little bonus to this match was Duke Hudson on commentary. Duke Hudson, absolutely hilarious. And he says, you know what? Whoever I face, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a breeze. Guy is money on the microphone. But it was Carmelo Hayes that hit a top rope, almost axe kick leg drop for the 1, 2, 3 over Josh Briggs. Carmelo Hayes advancing to Duke Hudson in round number 2. So, pretty decent matchup between these two. Carmelo Hayes definitely has some upside. Josh Briggs, I was hoping for a little more. He kind of felt a little flat here in his debut match. But, with that being said, bros, we're going to give this one a 7.7 on the bro ratings. Moving on, Franky Monet says, you know what, maybe me and Jessi can be partners and go after the women's tag team championship. Well, Kacy and Kayden butt in, and they say, you know what, it's not that easy. It's not that easy to go after the tag team championship. You know what? So get your ass to the back of the line. And I think we have a match set between those two teams for later on. And next up, we have L.A. Knight again, on the golf course, and he's hitting shots, and Cameron Grimes doing commentary, hilarious stuff. Well, L.A. Knight hits the ball in the water and says, now go find it. Who comes along? None other than the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, as Cameron Grimes is in the water trying to find a golf ball. And he says, you know what? Cameron, you're better than this. You weren't born to be a butler. You were born to be a champion. So don't give up your fight. And the Cameron Grimes I know is a fighter. You will become the $1 Million champion one day. So don't give up, Cameron. And Cameron Grimes looked like he just had an epiphany when Ted DiBiase was telling him this. So look for more evolution from this great storyline. So with that being said, bros, here is your 1-minute figure review. Okay, bros, this is the figure we're going to be talking about this week. It is NXT TakeOver Tommaso Ciampa. Good stuff right here. Check this out. Now, even though this is kind of a young Tommaso Ciampa, he always kind of looked old. Not like now, where he's really old man Ciampa. But they still did get a very good look at his beard right there. So NXT TakeOver Tommaso Ciampa made his NXT debut September 9th, 2015. Coming up on 6 years in NXT. Pretty good stuff. Tommaso Ciampa, one of his early figures, DIY days with Johnny Gargano. Now he's a part of another major tag team in NXT with Timothy Thatcher. So NXT TakeOver Tommaso Ciampa. Now back to me. And we're back! NXT continues this week with in-ring interview from the NXT Women's Champion Raquel Gonzalez being accompanied by Dakota Kai. Raquel gets on the microphone and says, who's next in NXT? Just keep them coming. I'm going to beat all the challengers they throw out at me. And Dakota Kai grabs a microphone and says, you know what? My best friend here, Big Mommy Cool, is the most dominant women's champion in NXT history. More dominant than Charlotte Flair. More dominant than Asuka. More dominant than Shayna Baszler. And has defeated numerous other former champions. Like Rhea Ripley. Like Ember Moon. And like Io Shirai. So, Who's coming out? Who is woman enough to challenge Raquel at NXT TakeOver? And no one showed up. Well, Dakota Kai says, you know what? We've been through so much together, Raquel. And as long as I have your back, you will always be NXT champion. They start celebrating. Raquel holds the title. And then Dakota Kai kicks Raquel in the face, turns on Raquel. Bros, I've been calling this for weeks, if not months. Dakota was turning on Raquel. It was bound to happen. Dakota wants the championship. She just can't sit back any longer and play second fiddle to Raquel. Big kick to the face, knocking Raquel out. Dakota Kai picks up the title and leaves the arena. Now, I think this was the right move, making the turn happen right now, but I didn't need a whole in-ring promo for this. Could have happened after the end of a match, after a loss. I think that would have been maybe a little better fitted, where you had that big shock turn from Dakota turning on Raquel there. But with that being said, I'm very excited to see Raquel Gonzalez versus Dakota Kai at the next TakeOver. Now you have your NXT Championship and your NXT Women's Championship. 2 major matches made. So with that being said, this in-ring interview is going to get a 7.0 on the bro ratings. Moving on. Zoe Stark says, you know what? Io, we should be training like partners. Not like friends, but partners. And Io says, we are not friends. Partners, maybe. But I still don't like you. So Zoe says, you know what? Can't we just please hang out? Let's go out. Let's hang out. We're going to have a good time. Io says, all right, but as partners. We'll see what happens there. Mandy Rose also seen talking to Gigi Dolan and Jessi Jane. When asked, Mandy Rose says, get out of here. See where that one's going. Next match is a women's tag team match announced earlier in the evening. Kayden Carter, Kacy Catanzaro versus Jessi Kamea and Franky Monet. Now, Franky Monet and Jessi Kamea accompanied by Robert Stone. Pretty decent matchup between these 4. I think they all looked pretty decent. But in the end, it was actually Robert Stone taking his merce, that's right, a man purse, and trying to hand it over to Franky Monet to use it as a weapon. And Franky's like, no, get out of here, get out of here. That was enough to cause a distraction. See, another distraction. Far too many distractions in NXT lately. And what happened was Kayden Carter hit her with a kick, then got her into the neck breaker as Kacy Catanzaro did the 450 onto Franky Monet. 1, 2, 3. Kacy and Kayden are your winners, defeating Franky Monet and Jessi Kamea. Franky Monet is furious at Robert Stone moving forward. So, progresses the storyline. Match was decent. So with that being said, bros, we're going to give this one a 7.1 on the bro ratings. Moving on. Wade Barrett is doing a little interview, and he asked Roderick Strong, how did you even get in touch with Malcolm Bivens? And you know what? He said all the drama in the Undisputed Era was something that I couldn't break through until I got a call. Got a call from Malcolm Bivens. And he made me realize that Diamond Mine was for real. And he made me realize my full potential. So there you have it. Big money match is then set up for next week. Bobby Fish versus Roderick Strong. And another announcement for NXT TakeOver 36 will include the NXT UK Championship, Walter versus Ilya Dragunov. So that is 3 major matchups already for TakeOver. And then we've got a tag team match coming up. We've got Imperium, Fabian Eichner and Marcel Bartel versus Hit Row. And if you didn't know, now you know. And that was Top Dollar and Ashanti the Adonis, accompanied by B-Fab and Isaiah Swerve Scott, the North American champion. And this was maybe the longest match of the entire show, actually. It was a pretty long tag team match. But guess what? interference. Surprise! It was interference this time by Legado del Fantasma. Came down. They were beating up Swerve. Well, Top Dollar chased them off. But Ashanti the Adonis was left in the ring. Imperium hit their powerbomb European uppercut move. Boom. 1, 2, 3. Imperium is your winner, defeating Hit Row, caused by Legado del Fantasma's interference. Santos Escobar was out there as well, kind of just looking on as Raul Mendoza and Joaquin Wilde did his bidding. So, with that being said, bros, good action. Just not a fan of these distraction finishes. Too much of them lately. We're going to give that one a 7.3 on the bro ratings. Moving on. The Way is talking backstage. Someone knocks on the door, and Indy, Johnny, and Candice say, "Oh, Austin? Is that you?" Expecting Austin Theory. But no, it was a present delivered to Indy Hartwell, and it is a picture with Dexter on it being part of The Way. Dexter, Indy, Candice, and Johnny. So, is that foreshadowing? Who knows? Indy loved it. Indy said, "That's great. We should let Dexter be a part of our family." Johnny and Candice said, no way. Johnny says, "No chance." Candice says, "In hell." Hilarious. They say, "No way." Indy says, "Well, I got an idea. How about if Dexter beats Johnny, he gets to join The Way?" And Johnny said, "Well, that's fine, because that's never going to happen. He's never going to beat me." So they make a match for next week. Then, another scene, L.A. Knight, on the golf course. And this time, he and Cameron Grimes are interrupted by the grizzled young veterans. And Cameron Grimes says, "You know what? He's the caddy, I'm the caddy, and let's double the bet for the next one to hit it over the water, onto the green in the hole, gets $20,000. Well, L.A. Knight hits another one in the water. And then Cameron Grimes knocks it onto the green, gets a hole-in-one, and at the same time, on his backswing, he hit L.A. Knight in the balls with the back of the club, and on his follow-through, the club hit L.A. Knight in the head, completely knocking him out. It was hilarious. Cameron Grimes is so happy. And then Cameron Grimes looks at what he did, and he throws the driver over to the grizzled young veterans, wakes up L.A. Knight. He goes, Mr. Knight, it was them. Let's get them." And then they chase the grizzled young veterans away. Hilarious stuff there. Which leads us to our main event of the evening. It is Bronson Reed. That's right. The colossal former North American champion versus Adam Cole, baby, in a fantastic main event here in NXT. Now, this match had everything you could imagine. Bronson Reed hitting big power moves. Bronson Reed goes for his top rope splash, misses it. Adam Cole hits plenty of super kicks to the face, to the knee, all over the place, including a Panama Sunrise. Adam Cole hits onto Bronson Reed, only getting a 2 count. But after Bronson Reed missed that top rope splash, Adam Cole hits him with a super kick as he's on his knees, kind of has him dizzy, and then hits the last shot to the back of the head on Bronson Reed for the 1, 2, 3. Your winner, Adam Cole, baby. So, what's very important to note, even though Adam Cole, baby, won, he's celebrating on the ramp. After the match, Kyle O'Reilly runs down and smashes him with a chair. Just totally whips him with a chair, moves the steps, hits that nasty-looking brainbuster on the steps. So there you have it. I think the seeds are planted. Here's your 4th major matchup coming up on TakeOver. It's going to be Cole versus O'Reilly, Part 3. NXT TakeOver is going to be absolutely insane. We're going to talk about that more in depth next week. So, main event, Bronson Reed, Adam Cole. We're going to give that one an 8.3 on the bro rating. So that was your match of the night. Bronson Reed versus Adam Cole, baby. Now, this week, we only had 7 matches or in-ring segments. 7's a good number. 6 I prefer. 8 too much. Giving us an average this week of 7.60. Good stuff. And now, it's time for predictions. NXT next week. Predictions. What's going to happen? Here's what we got going on. We got Roderick Strong will defeat Bobby Fish. We've got, in the final match of the first round of the Breakout Tournament, it will be Trey Baxter will defeat Joe Gacy, which could be the best match of round number 1. And in what I believe could be the main event, Dexter Lumis will defeat Johnny Gargano and join the Way. So, with that being said, bros, I'm going to put a sock in it here. Until next time, I'm your host, Jimmy the Gibson. Please like this video, share this video, subscribe to the channel, and comment below. Keep those comments coming, even if they are about Brimstone. NXT Fix. Let's go. Keep the ball rolling into Until next time. Later, bros.